Well, friends, this is one more concept we need to discuss in the context of audit. So, why it is important? It is important in the context of SA 260. As you can see, SA 260 talks about communication with those charged with governance. So, those charged with governance means here you are referring to a group of people who are charged with the governance of the entity. Okay. So, in an entity, we find a group of people who are charged with governance, and there are also a group of people who are charged with management. So we need to understand who are those people who are charged with governance and who are those people who are charged with management. Right? Why it is important? Because in the context of audit, many times we'll be saying certain things needs to be discussed, needs to be communicated with those charged with governance, and certain things also needs to be communicated to management. That is one thing. Apart from that, few other related things. Let us say, coming to the responsibilities, there are certain things which are the responsibilities of people who are charged with governance, and there are some other thing in the sense we'll be learning that what are those things where the responsibility lies with management, not with those charged with governance. So there are you can say there are two different set of people, but in some organization you can find a group of people are responsible for both the things. That means they are the people who are charged with the governance, and they are also the people who represents management. So in different organization, you have to find out who are the people who are charged with governance and who are the people who are charged with management. Got some basic idea? Now, let me come to the definition part. First definition we'll see about those charged with governance. Okay, as you can see, let us read the definition part. The persons or organizations, for example, corporate trustees, with responsibility of overseeing the strategic direction of the entity and obligations and an obligation related to accountability of the entity. So these persons will be referred to as those charged with governance. So their responsibility is to oversee the strategic direction, and they're also obliged for accountability. Did you understand? So accountability is their
Yes.
responsibility, and overseeing the strategic function is there. Strategic direction is also their responsibility. This includes overseeing the financial reporting process. The financial reporting process is also overseen by these people. For some entities, those charged with governance may include management personnel, for example, executive members of governance board of a private or public sector undertaking, or a co-manager. That is also possible that a person is the manager and person is also the owner manager. That possibility is there. As a owner, he performs this governance function. He is charged with governance. But as manager, he is also responsible for management. Right. In some cases, those charged with governance are responsible for approving entities' financial statements. Right. Those who charge with governance, in most of the cases, they approve the entity's financial statements. And as an auditor, we deal with those financial statements, which are approved by the people who are charged with governance. And who are management, or what is management? Management refers to those persons with executive responsibility for conduct of entities operation. So this is an executive responsibility for conducting operation. That means this is for operational management. Right. For some entities, management includes some or all of those charged with governance. That possibility is also there. Some of the members of manage, some of the members of some of the people who are charged with governance may be included in management. For example, executive member of governance board. He's a member of governance board, but he has also got executive responsibility, means operational responsibilities are also there. Management is responsible for preparation of financial statement. Okay, who is responsible for preparation of financial management statement?
So the management.
Management. But you see, who is overseeing the financial statement? It is overseen by the people who are charged with governance. So again, I read it. Management is responsible for preparation of the financial statement, overseen by those charged with governance. So overseeing those financial statements are the responsibility of people who are charged with governance. But preparation responsibility is with management. And in some cases, management is also responsible for approving the entity's financial statements. Some cases management approves, some cases it says it is approved by the people who are charged with governance. But the key difference lies here that management is responsible for preparation of financial statement, and those who are charged with governance are responsible for overseeing the preparation process. Did you understand the meaning? Okay. So who are the people exactly uh, in different organization? That varies from organization to organization, that may vary. So you can give some example, let us say general managers of different organization. They are responsible for entities operation. You can call them as the management people. But board of directors can be referred to as something like people charged with governance because they look at the strategic directions. In some organization, you can find the board of directors can be referred to as management. An audit committee can be called as charged with governance. Okay, so in fact, these two concepts are in substance. You have to see who are the people. Substance, you have to see what is the responsibilities of the different people. Accordingly, you have to decide who are the people who can be referred to as those charged with governance and who are the people who can be referred to as management. That two different concepts. Got some basic idea? Now,
Yes, sir.
now question comes, then why we are interested to know about this? What is the meaning of those who charged with governance? What is the uh, meaning of management? We are interested because no, because as an auditor, we got certain responsibilities. Right? As by this time you must have understood the preparation of financial statement is the responsibility of management. But overseeing that preparation process is the responsibility of those who are charged with governance. Okay. And auditor has got a responsibility, first of all, to both of them. First of all, let us see what is the responsibility in relation to those people who are charged with governance. So auditor's responsibility as regards to financial statement are like this. Auditors shall communicate with those charged with governance the responsibilities of the auditor in relation to the financial statement audit. That means auditor needs to communicate to those people, those charged with governance. Okay. Okay. So in sometimes they are referred to as TCWG. Okay, TCWG, that means those charged with governance. Right. What auditor needs to communicate? His own responsibility. Auditor's responsibility. Okay. What is his responsibility? That auditor's responsibility is to form and express an opinion in the financial statement that have been prepared by management. So financial statement has to be prepared by management, and auditor is responsibility is to form and express an opinion. Okay, that has been prepared by management with the oversight of those charged with governance. So auditors should clearly communicate that you see, my responsibility is to form and express an opinion with on the financial statement which are prepared by management and which are overseen by you. Right. So if there is some material error and fraud, that is not my responsibility. My responsibility is to form and express an opinion. And audit of those financial statement doesn't relieve management or those charged with governance of their responsibility. So auditors should inform them that you have a responsibility of preparation of this financial statement, right? And you have also the responsibility of overseeing this financial statement. And just because I am auditing this financial statement, that does not mean that you are relieved of your obligation, that you are relieved of your responsibility. Your responsibilities remains as it is. My responsibility is on the top of that to form and express an opinion on the financial statement. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this fact has to be communicated by the auditor. Now, auditor also needs to communicate few other things like overview of the plan, scope, and the timing of the audit. That also needs to be communicated with those charged with governance. Those charged with governance, as I told you, we can refer to as TCWG. So, what is overview? What is audit planning can be communicated. What is the timing of audit can also be communicated, right? And auditor also shall communicate with those people with TCWG. Few other things like auditors' view about significant qualitative aspects of entities' accounting practices. If auditors find out something which affects the quality of entities' accounting practice, then he needs to inform. Inform to whom? To those charged with governance, including accounting policy, accounting estimates, disclosures. As regards to all those things, significant qualitative aspects needs to be communicated to TCWG. Okay. And when applicable, auditors are explained to those people why the auditor considers a significant accounting practice that is acceptable under the applicable financial reporting framework may not be most appropriate. Sometimes auditor may think that this particular accounting practice may not be most appropriate. That might be better or more appropriate accounting procedure. So auditor need to communicate this thing to TCWG. Okay. And auditor also needs to communicate the significant difficulties he has encountered during the audit. If he has faced some significant difficulties, that also needs to be brought to the attention of TCWG. And unless all of those charged with governance are involved in the managing of the entity, material weaknesses of internal control, right? If there is some weaknesses in internal control, that also needs to be brought to the attention of TCWG. Significant matters arising from the audit, right? And if any written representation has to be made, that also has to be made to TCWG. And any other matter which might have arisen during the course of audit, that also needs to be brought to the attention of TCWG. In case of listed entities, then certain additional requirements are there. Auditor needs to communicate to TCWG a statement that the engagement team and others in the firm they have complied with the relevant ethical requirements. That means all ethical requirements are complied with. Okay, and also the detail of fees, etc., needs to be properly classified. That how much fee is charged for audit service, how much fee is charged for non-audit service. Those aspects also needs to be communicated. And these are the few things which needs to be communicated in case of listed entities. And how it is to be communicated. So normally in appropriate appropriate auditing standard, when we will be learning, we'll be talking about this thing all in detail. So standard requires there should be two-way communication from auditor to TCWG. Auditors are communicate with those charged with governance, the form, timing, and expected general content of the communication. How auditor is going to communicate, that also should be written. And to the extent possible, auditors are communicated in writing. All significant communication should be communicated in writing. And many times oral communication may not be adequate, right? If there is, if some reason there is some oral communication that needs to be confirmed through a subsequent written communication also. and auditor needs to communicate on timely basis. That means as and when the issue arises, auditor needs to communicate with those charged with governance, or need not wait till, let us say, completion of the audit. Before that also he can communicate. Okay, as you can see, the standard requires auditors shall evaluate whether the two-way communication between the auditor and those charged with governance has been adequate for the purpose of audit. Communication is essential. Auditors shall evaluate the effect, if any, of auditors' assessment of risk of material misstatement and ability to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidences, and shall take appropriate action. So these are certain requirements which auditor needs to judge. Yeah, this paragraph says if oral communication is there, that should be documented in case an oral audit. Now, this particular chart shows the summary of communication that is to be made with those charged with governance. So, like communication may happen through engagement letter or management letters, or through dialogues also can be communicated. What is to be communicated? Examples are accounting policies, risks, adjustment, disagreements, modifications, deficiency. When it is to be communicated, as you know, on timely basis, that means as planning stage it can be communicated. During the audit it can be communicated. After audit also it can be communicated. So continuously communication can happen. Got some idea about people who are
Yes,
those charged with governance and management, and what is the auditor's responsibility as regards to communicating with those charged with governance and communicating with management. Okay, so friends, we'll stop here. Thank you very much.